Hey, what is going on, guys? It's the Heart Pirates TCG here, and I'm gonna bring you a real tier list of like the actual tiers that I believe is gonna be a thing, and pretty accurate for set two, at least so far. The presidents did a tier list for me on my last video. If you guys haven't checked that out, just check that out because it's hilarious. But I'm gonna go ahead and rate all these how I think they're gonna be throughout the set, and then we'll reevaluate it whenever like big tournaments come up. If you guys haven't joined my Discord yet, the link is down below. Remember, I'm doing that double box giveaway. I'm doing tournaments, prize tournaments, so check that out. If you have any any questions, check out my double box video giveaway. I'll link it in the description below as well. But without further ado, we're gonna go. Let's jump around a little bit. First, we are gonna go into Garp. Garp actually is your trolling. Like there is absolutely no synergy with black and red. Black discards a bunch of cards. Red, pretty much one for ones if you're lucky. With all their cards, and there just seems to be no valid way to actually make this deck like synergize in the slightest. And if you're playing Garp, you're actually trolling. That's all I gotta say. Same with Kaido. Blurple Kaido, if you're playing him, you're trolling. This deck is hot garbage. Like there's nothing it can do that like generates like advantage in any normal fashion. So let's go into something else now. Let's go into something that's like kind of relevant, and we're gonna go Luffy. Luffy's gonna be kind of good. I think Luffy is going to be the second best red deck in the format. And the reason, obviously, is because he's playing with 11 Dawn. Yes, that's the normal, you know, like good, like game mechanic. But the thing is, the reason that he's going to be better than Zoro is because he can play a more mid-range game, which against Whitebeard is going to be a lot better. Because Zoro, if you're playing against Whitebeard, you're playing with like essentially like you're playing with like 7 Dawn, because all your characters you have to put an extra Dawn on them just for them to attack at 6. So Luffy can play like Ben Beckman in like a more mid-range game, and I think he's going to be a lot better than Zoro. And speaking of Zoro, we're going to put him at Luxaki, and the reason we're gonna put Zoro at Luxaki is because like with a great hand he can steamroll pretty much like anyone, but you have to actually get kind of lucky to get that, and you have to be also like a pretty good red player, I think, to just like completely steamroll someone, especially in this format coming up when like Kinemon's gonna be a lot like gonna be really good. Kid's still gonna be running around. Doflamingo is gonna be running around. Ivankov, like there's a lot. Like Ivankov actually is gonna destroy Zoro, I feel like. So Zoro's going to be Luxaki. He could honestly be pretty bad, but we'll see. Ivankov, I think, is going to be kind of good. And I think Ivankov's going to be better than Luffy. And that's just because, like, if you can, like, the fact is, like, you can discard basically your entire hand for counters to save all of your characters and then draw them back at the end of the turn. And, like, you can, like, pretty much always keep your characters alive. Now, the issue with this is, like, are you going to be able to like consistently like know what you're going to get to plan around that? So like that's why like if you're not playing Perona or Blocker Doflamingo, it's going to be a little bit difficult to do that. So I'm wondering how the format's going to shape up for this. Ivankov could be really good. It's just I feel like for a while it's going to be kind of good until someone figures out a way to like make the cards you draw like very valuable. Like obviously you're going to play Level of Mellows and whatnot, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Then we're going to go Kaido. Kaido's going to be Luxaki as well. He's going to be worse than Zoro, I think. Just regular Kaido, and the reason being is like Kaido already loses to aggression, so like now you added a hyper aggressive deck with Whitebeard, and it's gonna be running around the format like crazy. And if I feel like Kaido is just gonna get toppled over like almost every red matchup, and it's going to be very interesting to see, because like at the same time the reason it's Luxaki is because obviously if you draw Oni, but if you draw Oni and you're able to stabilize against Whitebeard, then you can just trash their last life and like swing for game. So we'll see how that works out and like how everything is, but I feel like Whitebeard's going to absolutely demolish Kaido, and there's going to be a ton of Whitebeards running around, so Kaido's actually going to get worse by addition to the metagame. Next, the first really good deck is going to be Whitebeard. Guys, the reason that this deck is so good, right, is it's not that red has great cards, which they do. It's the fact that you are inherently playing with less Dawn than your opponent, because you have to you can no longer swing 5 at their leader, you know, like you have to swing 6, and every character that you play has to swing 6, which means if you want to hit for the magic numbers, if you instead of swinging 7, now you have to put 3 Dawn on someone and swing at 8, so they can't counter out with a 2k counter automatically, which is, it feels so good. It's a really good position to be in, and like this deck is going to change the way that this game is played, at least for this set, just because of like that 6,000 like wall that he has, especially with Whitebeard. Or Edward Newgate, the 9-drop can put him at 8,000, and it's just like, I mean, there's very little amounts of leaders that can just like consistently hit like for over, you know, 10,000 multiple times. Like it's gonna be tough. Next, let's go ahead and talk about Doflamingo. I think Doflamingo is going to be kind of good. I think he's going to be right around the same tier as like Luffy. And the reason being is because 8-drop Kid is actually going to be less relevant in this meta because Black exists. Now, the reason Black is the ultimate, like, he's the ultimate mediator of this format, because like I don't think Kinemon is going to be as good as it could have been, because Black can just control their board before they even play it. Now, yes, if you kill their character Odin, then he could just like summon an Okiku from the deck, but I feel like he's just less scary because like his cards can get killed before they have any value at all. It just depends on like what kind of like how Whitebeard is going to be played in this set, and I'm not entirely sure yet. I have an idea, or not Whitebeard, Smoker and Z. I have an idea, but we'll see if that actually comes into fruition. We'll talk about Kinemon now. I think Kinemon is probably actually going to be the best deck, just because obviously he has 5 life. Right, like you know, 5 life leaders are good. Green cards are fantastic. You know, having the ability to play Okiku and Bonnie and Kinemon, and you know, all these cards are just really strong. And like green and red have the best cards in the game right now. So he's going to be really powerful. Playing cards for less cost is going to be really good. It's a constant effect, so like if they clear your board, you can just play cards for cheaper, and it's just very powerful. You can go first or second with that deck too, which is scary. We'll talk about Magellan now. Magellan can be pretty luck-sacky. I think Magellan's going to be better than Kaido though, because Kaido is scary because his top end is really scary. But now that Whitebeard's out, like I feel like Kaido is going to be less scary, and you're not going to see him as much. So like you don't have to be worried about him. I feel like Magellan's going to be everywhere, because like the idea of minusing your opponent's Dawn is actually a little bit more scary, because your opponent can never actually account for what they're going to do the next turn, and like by minusing their Dawn, it's going to be like not only annoying and like mad troll, but it's going to like ruin your plans a lot of the time, and it might be actually really good. So we'll see how that goes, but I think he's going to be luck-sacky. I think he's going to be better than Kaido, worse than Zoro though. Next we're gonna go Crocodile. Crocodile's gonna be pretty bad, like mono blue Crocodile. There is nothing that he has in set 2 that added to his strategy, so he's gonna be pretty bad. You're not trolling, but he's gonna be pretty bad. Same with Blurple Crocodile. He might be luck-sacky depending on the build. I haven't really like tested out a good build for him yet. He could be luck-sacky and like maybe at the bottom of luck-sacky, but I think he's gonna be pretty bad, at least for a while. He's gonna be better than friggin' Blue Crocodile, I'll tell you that much. So we'll put him ahead of him. But I don't think the Impel Down version, like I've seen people play it on YouTube, guys, those people are wrong. That is not good. Like a pure Impel Down version on Blurple Croc is not good. Do not listen to a thing they say. Like I don't care who they are, that is not good. All right. Next we'll talk about Kid. Kid's I think is still going to be really good. I don't think like he's going to rely as much on the 8-drop Kid anymore, but he still has access to the new green cards, so he's going to be pretty good. Swinging for 12 is really good. I think he's going to be the worst of the greens, other than obviously Odin. So I think he's going to be good. No question about it. Next, Law is going to be really powerful. He's going to be actually the most interesting of the leaders. I think he's going to be a little bit better than Kid, and that's just because like there's a lot of like very unique builds going around with him, with like the 1-drop tempos that like gain attack, that are very interesting, and we'll just see how that plays out. But I think it's going to be really cool how that whole deck works, and I'm very excited to see that. I think he's just going to be like overall top end more powerful than Kid though, but he could have big problems against Whitebeard, but we'll see. Next, we'll talk about Odin. Odin, you're trolling. Like, there's no reason to play Odin. He's probably the best. I mean, he's the best of the you're trolling category. But he doesn't really like get anything. He didn't really. He's just not. Guys, just don't play Odin. He's not good. Red Green Luffy also. You're probably trolling with Red Green Luffy. I don't think he gets better at all in this next set. I could be wrong about this one. He could be just pretty bad. But for right now, if you're playing Red Green Luffy, you're trolling. Sanji is going to be Luxaki. He's going to be better. I think Sanji's actually going to be the best. No, Zora's still better. Sanji's going to be the second best Luxaki deck because like his ability to swarm the field is fantastic. One of you guys commented this on my video. That said, like, we saw the same thing with Odin. Like, Odin was able to swarm the field, but it just wasn't enough. And you're exactly right. Like, Odin was able to swarm the field with, like, leaders, or, like, with characters that, like, were pretty powerful, if, like, you know, in the Wano engine, and it just wasn't enough to make Odin good. And so Sanji actually could be really bad, because he has one less life, but maybe this is different. We'll see. He could be Luxaki, but he could be really bad. We'll find out. We'll save the two leaders for last, like the new edition color. I think Smoker is gonna be kind of good and possibly really good. I don't see how it has the top end power to actually succeed late game, and I feel like he can be really good, possibly, maybe even slightly better than Kid, depending on if a really skilled pilot plays him and how the metagame adjusts to the addition of black. So we'll see about that. And I honestly think that Z is going to be the same way, guys. I'm going to crack the code for Z and make him somewhere in this top echelon of characters. He's going to be fantastic. We just have to figure out a way that he can consistently get his effect off without like losing the game and controlling the board. We'll figure out a way to do it, but Z is going to be really powerful. I think both black decks are going to be pretty powerful. How powerful? We'll have to find out. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoy this type of video. Let me know in the comments if you actually agree with this, what you would change, what you're excited to play, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.